Ruben Amorim just dropped a brutal message about Kobbie Mainoo, and it's got everyone talking. Plus, a shocking claim. One Man United legend was even better than Zidane and Ronaldo. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Man United updates. Let's break down what this means for Mainoo, the squad, and the upcoming Premier League clash. Ruben Amorim delivers brutal Kobbie Mainoo message and spiky Manchester United press conference. Kobbie Mainoo can't get a game for manutd, but his chances of playing anytime soon look slim under Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim dismissed claims he had no faith in the Manchester United academy, but refused to offer Kobbie Mainoo any guarantees that he would get a chance when the club lose players to the Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON. Mainoo was an unused substitute during United's 1-1 draw with West Ham on Thursday, despite being one of only 2 attacking options on the bench. He has managed just 171 minutes of Premier League football this season, and his only start came in the Carabao Cup defeat to Grimsby. The 20-year-old will return to the scene of one of his best moments in a United shirt on Monday night. Mainoo scored a stunning winning goal at Molineux in February 2024 during a remarkable breakout season that ended with him playing in a European Championship final. However, he has fallen out of favor under Amorim and doesn't look like forcing his way into the team anytime soon. Manuel Ugarte came on for Joshua Zirkzee against the Hammers, and quizzed about Mainoo's prospects before the trip to Wolves, Amorim became frustrated at the topic coming up again. Of course I understand why you ask, and my job is to answer, but I'm trying to answer always the same thing, and you ask me always the same thing. I understand what you were saying. You love Kobbie. He starts for England, but that doesn't mean that I need to put Kobbie in when I feel that I shouldn't put Kobbie in. So it's my decision. Amorim accepted that Mainoo's situation was becoming deflating for the academy graduate who could leave on loan during the January transfer window. But he insisted his team selection was purely down to picking the best players and that he didn't see Mainoo in the best 11 this season. I see it. I just want to win. I try to put the players. I don't look who it is. I don't care about that. I'm just trying to put the best players on the pitch. You have Manuel Ugarte that played 2 games. One of them, Tace Mesmero, was out. Bruno, he's always fit. He's the guy that is doing his position, so maybe it has to do with that. Asked if AFCON could be Mainoo's route into the team, Amorim added, I don't know. It's the same question. I don't know what is going to happen. It depends. I've seen the training. If it's the best thing for the team, I will put him in. That is the only way I know how to respond to that. Amorim's faith in the academy has been questioned recently. He has shunted Mainoo to the margins of the squad, and although youngsters such as Jack Fletcher and Shea Lacey have made the bench this season, they haven't made it onto the pitch. It was put to Amorim that he didn't trust the academy, and he went on to explain why Lacey has made the bench for 3 games in a row but not made an appearance. But Lacey, in difficult situations, sometimes when Brian Mbeumo isn't there, I put a mod because I have other wingbacks to play, and sometimes it's hard. So you're asking me why I don't put Lacey to play when I have other guys that are international and also they're on the bench, so I try to put the best guys, the prepared guys, for this moment of the club in trying to win the game. That's the only thing. I played with Zinedine Zidane and Ronaldo, but one Man United legend was better than both. One Manchester United legend has been hailed as the best player Roberto Carlos played with at Real Madrid, with the Brazilian icon praising qualities the public didn't see. Roberto Carlos has hailed David Beckham as the finest player he shared a pitch with during his time at Real Madrid. The former Brazil international, who also took a pretty mean free kick himself, praised the Englishman's unseen dedication and work ethic. The recently knighted Beckham, now 50, left an illustrious career at Manchester United in 2003 to join the ranks of Real Madrid's Galacticos. Despite not achieving the same level of success as he did in Manchester, Beckham still clinched a La Liga title in 2007 and a Spanish Super Cup before heading to LA Galaxy. However, it may come as a surprise to many that legendary defender Carlos, who served Real Madrid from 1996 to 2007, singled out Beckham as the best teammate he had in Spain, attributing this to Beckham's commitment and professionalism often overlooked by the public. Beckham, of course Beckham, Carlos revealed on the Obi-Wan podcast when asked about the best player he played with. Zinedine Zidane was top, but David Beckham was a close friend of mine and a role model. The best in training and the best during games. running all the time and making incredible passes. He played with all his heart. No matter what people say about Ronaldo, Zidane, Raul, Luis Figo, in the 4 years of the Galacticos, in my opinion, Beckham was the most consistent and the best. Beckham was for the team. Beckham would attack and defend. He would pass. He did everything the team needed, things that the public didn't see, but we as a team on the pitch saw all these attributes. Carlos went on to praise Beckham's commitment to his teammates, which he said earned him great respect within the squad and from the Brazilian hero. He was very special. Beckham didn't play for the fans, he played for Real Madrid, for his teammates to win. That is what we value the most, Carlos added. That was the difference between him and other players. He thought about the team while others just played for themselves. There is a huge difference. He is English, full concentration with or without the ball, great mentality, and a team player. Having Beckham at Real Madrid with his quality, his footwork, his assists, his free kicks was just spectacular. For me, he was very complete. Now an ambassador for Real Madrid, Carlos continues to promote the same team-first attitude that Beckham exemplified. He said, "Now I am an ambassador for the club." Man United insider gives Kobbie Mainoo training verdict. I don't get the sense. Kobbie Mainoo continues to become a bigger specter, looming over Ruben Amorim with every passing game, and the verdict on his behind-the-scenes conduct has now arrived via Andy Mitten. After using Kobbie Mainoo as an injury-time sub to kill seconds off the clock against Crystal Palace, Ruben Amorim went one better, read worse, and snubbed him entirely versus West Ham. It was unbelievable because Man United clearly needed someone who could provide a moment of magic, since the system clearly has no attacking patterns. As Mainoo's star continues to fall, Andy Mitten has now shared the details of how he is behind the scenes at Carrington, and it's not a good look for Ruben Amorim. Kobbie Mainoo Man United training verdict. Amorim has taken a lot of tough decisions so far at Old Trafford, and he has always had the backing of Man United fans. So there's no player power over the manager narrative here. When Alejandro Garnacho was sent on his way, fans vilified the Argentine and backed Amorim, and the same happened with Marcus Rashford. Even Tyrell Malacia becoming a part of the bomb squad was accepted quietly in the name of a cultural reset, when there was no evidence of Malacia ever being a dressing room problem. The straw's broken with Mainoo's exclusion, and Mitten's training verdict on the player isn't likely to close the floodgates. Speaking on the Talk of the Devils podcast, Mitten said, "My interactions with him, he seems like a level-headed lad. I think he's continued to train well. He wanted to leave, which shows he's not happy. I don't get the sense of him being a bad egg in the dressing room like I have had with other players in the past." The Athletic's Carl Anka added the damning final line. "It's sad that Manchester United is not the best place for a youth player. Ruben Amorim can't justify Mainoo's treatment." Ruben Amorim has been repeatedly asked about his treatment of Mainoo, and he's repeatedly given the same answer, but holistically, that reasoning is stretching a bit. He simply says Bruno Fernandes is in his position, but then talks about how Mainoo is better near the box, so he should be a candidate for the number 10 spot. Then he says he can't play with Fernandes, but he plays Casemiro with Manuel Ugarte, despite the Uruguayan being Casemiro's backup. He says the team lacked control against West Ham, but brought on a ball winner, on paper, in Ugarte, instead of a ball carrier like Mainoo. The fact is that the only way to justify Mainoo's exclusion would have been to win games, in which case Mainoo would simply become a casualty of his success. There's no success to speak of, so whether he likes it or not, he will be asked why he's not using a player who is a proven difference maker at the highest level of football in his teenage years. What a player. Former Man United winger responds to Aaron Wan-Bissaka's message after a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. Manchester United received a blast from the recent pass when Aaron Wan-Bissaka returned to Old Trafford. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is now undefeated in 3 matches against Man United since his exit in 2024. After 2 wins, he had to settle for a draw at Old Trafford this past week, but he did everything he could to ensure that United did not leave with all 3 points. Wan-Bissaka's rangy tackles got West Ham out of trouble on a couple of occasions, while his finest moment was when he cleared a Joshua Zirkzee effort off the line. Manchester United had to settle for a 1-1 draw, with Diogo Dalot's second-half goal cancelled out by a late equalizer. Aaron Wan-Bissaka send message. Anthony responds, "I was David Beckham's teammate. What the public didn't see speaks volumes about him." David Beckham is an England and Manchester United icon, but one of his former Real Madrid teammates has shed light on something the public didn't see. Roberto Carlos says David Beckham was the best he played with at Real Madrid. The Brazilian icon also admits the public didn't see just how good a teammate the Englishman was. The recently knighted 50-year-old left his legendary spell with Manchester United behind in 2003 when he made a blockbuster switch to the Spanish capital and joined Real Madrid as the latest Galacticos signing. Although his time in Madrid was not as successful as his spell in Manchester, he still managed to secure a La Liga title in 2007 and a Spanish Super Cup before leaving for LA Galaxy. However, many would be surprised to learn that iconic defender Carlos, who played for Real Madrid from 1996 to 2007, named Beckham as the best player he teamed up with in Spain thanks to an attitude not often seen by the general public. Beckham, of course Beckham, said Carlos on the Obi-Wan podcast when asked who the best player he played alongside was. Zinedine Zidane was top. But David Beckham was a close friend of mine and a role model, the best in training and the best during games, running all the time and making incredible passes. He played with all his heart. No matter what people say about Ronaldo, Zidane, Raul, Luis Figo, in the 4 years of the Galacticos, in my opinion, Beckham was the most consistent and the best. Beckham was for the team. Beckham would attack and defend. He would pass. He did everything the team needed, things that the public didn't see, but we as a team on the pitch saw all these attributes. Carlos continued, adding that Beckham's desire to support his fellow players earned admiration from his teammates, which is what made the Brazilian respect him so much. He was very special. Beckham didn't play for the fans. He played for Real Madrid, for his teammates, to win. That is what we value the most, added Carlos. That was the difference between him and other players. He thought about the team while others just played for themselves. There is a huge difference. He is English, full concentration with or without the ball, great mentality, and a team player. Having Beckham at Real Madrid with his quality, his footwork, his assists, his free kicks was just spectacular. For me, he was very complete. Carlos is now an ambassador for Real Madrid, and he continues to teach the same attitude that Beckham held. Carlos added, "Now I am an ambassador for the club. I travel around the world to represent it. I work more now than when I played football. Madrid is the first club in the world to have former players represent its name. We also teach academy players and new first-team players to understand what Real Madrid is. I miss training and playing at the highest level. I miss it a lot."
Manchester United stands on AFCON call-ups amid Bournemouth confusion. MUFC face Bournemouth on the day players are set to depart for the Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON, and Ruben Amorim is unsure who will be available. Manchester United are in the dark over whether Noussair Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Bryan Mbeumo will be available to face Bournemouth at Old Trafford on Monday, December 15. FIFA has confirmed that date is when players should be released for duty in AFCON, with the tournament starting on Sunday, December 21, but it is unclear whether that date is for every player or whether it will move in line for each nation's first game in the tournament. Mazraoui's Morocco entered the competition in the first game, but Ahmad's Ivory Coast and Mbeumo's Cameroon don't play their first games in the tournament until Christmas Eve, which leaves open the possibility they could face the Cherries. FIFA released a statement earlier this week confirming the release date of December 15, but it didn't offer full clarity on whether that date would be moved if a country began their campaign later. The only Premier League game on the day of December 15 is United's clash with Bournemouth. Asked if he knew when players would be leaving his squad to link up with their countries, Amorim said, "No, we are dealing with everything. They're going to play the next game, and that is the only thing I care." United are in talks with 3 different national federations to seek clarity on when they expect players to arrive and whether they can retain their AFCON trio for the fixture against Bournemouth. That is the final game of that Premier League weekend, which means the other 18 clubs will be able to field their players who have been called up. Meanwhile, Amorim is confident Matthijs de Ligt and Diogo Dalot will be fit to face Wolves on Monday night. De Ligt missed Thursday's draw with West Ham after picking up a knock, and Dalot came off not long after scoring, but both could be in contention at Mainoo. Wolves remain winless after 14 games and have just 2 points, leaving them rooted to the foot of the table. Their dismal record could make this a banana skin for United, and Amorim has warned against complacency. Everything can happen, and that will change. There is no team in the history of the Premier League that didn't win one game. It can be any game. So we need to try to improve, rest the players, work really well, and prepare a tough match because with us, it's always a tough match. Man United star who ridiculed Ruben Amorim on social media dropped for Crystal Palace. A Manchester United star who apparently liked a post criticizing Ruben Amorim's team selection has been dropped from the starting lineup. Ruben Amorim has dropped Patrick Dorgu from Manchester United's starting lineup against Crystal Palace. It comes after the defender appeared to mock him on social media. Earlier this month, Dorgu's Instagram account liked a post criticizing Amorim's team selection, leading to speculation about tension between the two. The post includes a screenshot of a comment from X reading, "Any coach that sees Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes as a viable pivot is one that isn't serious." There is no definitive proof that Amorim's choice was influenced by Dorgu's online activity. Still, the Denmark international had started United's previous two fixtures, a 1-0 defeat by Everton on Monday and a 2-2 draw with Tottenham.